Tonight on the Mac to the Future Livecast, go. If you were here early, you saw me get into a fight with my wife, and a night of frenzy as nearly every Apple device created in the last 5 years or so has had updates. Apple TV, Mac OS, iPad OS, all down for the count as you wait for those sweet, sweet downloads. Apple also released their first quarter earnings for 2020, and big shock, they made a lot of money. All that tonight and more on the Mac. Where's the damn button? There it is. On the Mac to the Future Livecast. Go. And welcome everyone to the Mac to the Future Livecast. Go. It has been a very weird start for the evening, but this time, for whatever reason, it wasn't technical at all. As a matter of fact, the technical setup for the show tonight, I think, went about as well as it possibly could have. Everything just worked right off the bat. And so I'm kind of stunned by that. And to tell you just how stunned they probably are, we're going to start with Mr. Dave Ginsburg. Hello, Dave Ginsburg.
Hey, how you doing?
Were you stunned?
I was really stunned. I was like, holy cow, she's going to just rip you a new one.
Yeah, well, it's not like it isn't anything I'm not used to already.
Yeah, true. But doing well. Glad to be here, as always. We a lot of exciting things to talk about tonight.
Okay, and of course, we have Mr. Warren Sklar, who is contemplating getting a new camera because he thinks he's blurry.
I am blurry.
See, I've met you in person.
No,
this is like your default state.
Yes, that's how I look. Well, thanks for having me on the what was it? The Mac to the Future. Where's that damn button go podcast?
Yeah, exactly. That's the show. That's the show I've always wanted to do. Where's the damn button podcast?
And he's still in Guatemala.
Okay.
He's still in Guatemala, and he's a pro bowler.
No.
I am never leaving Guatemala because it's safe here, and I like the president.
Okay. I'm so happy to hear that, Warren.
I don't know who he is, but I like him. He's good.
Yeah, it's and oddly enough, it's a Spanish name, Spanish sounding name.
It is.
Probably.
Barack.
I have no idea who it is either.
Barack Obama is his name. So.
Yeah, Guatemala was actually one of the countries in Central America that I have not been to. That and Belize. I've been to the rest of them, but I haven't been to Guatemala or Belize.
I can't believe it.
Oh, I can't believe it.
But a bump.
Can't believe it.
Yeah, boy. Okay.
Boink.
Well, we're gonna jump into it. Quick take. There's only one for the evening that I know of so far. With Windows 7 now officially dead, some are calling for Microsoft. I love this, for Microsoft to open source Windows 7. I cannot think of a single reason why Microsoft would do this.
Nor will it ever happen, ever.
Who said anything about that?
They're selling extended support. There's so many companies that are going to continue to use Windows 7 for the foreseeable future. They pay they pay Microsoft tens of thousands of dollars to continue to get extended support security updates. So there is no way that's ever going to go open source. Okay. All right. Well, let's make XP open source. Okay. I mean, yeah. Do you think they did that? No,
they did not.
Well, it's you could steal it pretty easily. It's pretty much open source.
Well, you could steal Windows 10 pretty easily if you want Windows 10 that badly.
If you really wanted to, yeah.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, they'll give it to you for free. You just have to put up with like Nagware.
XP was pretty easy. Where did you read this nonsense about?
I don't even remember. It was one of the news aggregators that I went to. But when I saw it, it was like, wow, that's a whole bag of insanity. And
No,
frankly, for the people that want to run open source software, they're going to run some version of Linux. They're not going to run Windows 7. Why would anybody do that?
This is on ZDNet.
People actually love Windows 7. It's actually
Well, it's a good, robust, mature operating system.
The article says Microsoft should do it too. Yeah, the article says open source Windows 7 to undo past wrongs. Group of free software advocates.
I forgot about
Microsoft. That. Yeah. Okay. Sure. This isn't ZDNet. I mean, okay. I wouldn't even publish this.
Past wrongs. I'm sorry. That's kind of hard to get over. Past wrongs. I don't really quite get that. And yes, I'm aware that Microsoft has done some shady things in the past, but I think you would be hard pressed to find any company, including Apple, that doesn't have a bit of shady shenanigans going on in its history. So crazy. Brian Monroe says that's true. Windows 7 and Windows XP will be around for a while. Yeah, they will be. Yep. Absolutely no doubt about it. What? You don't think, Brian, you don't think Microsoft is not going to open source Windows anything? Garbage reporting. Yeah. What does that say about this show? Okay. Moving on. Did you want to say something about their stock prices, David?
Did I want to say? We got a story about it, but yeah, the stock's at an all-time high. Well, it must be doing pretty well. I mean, they had some weird announcement that they made lots of money. We were definitely going to talk about that. Okay, yeah, the stock's at $324 a share right now as we record this, at after hours trading, and.
But do you realize that they've doubled their share price over the last year?
Yes.
And that's even with all the gloom and doom about, iPhone 11 isn't going to sell really well because it's not different enough from the iPhone 10. In the meantime, they're having to ramp up production of, the A13 processors?
Yes.
Yeah, in order to meet demand. And same thing with, nobody's going to buy AirPods Pro because they're more expensive. Oh, no, they're not going to do that. In the meantime, they're sold out almost everywhere.
Yeah.
It's
so
doomed.
stupid.
Apple's doomed.
Apple is doomed.
Everybody says that.
Doomed.
Apple is doomed.
Yeah,
as their stock price goes up and up and up and up.
And they only had a revenue of, 91 million.
Let's go into that. Let's talk about how Apple made money over the first quarter of 2020. They averaged over $1 billion in revenue per day for the quarter. $91.8 billion per quarter, which means they earned over $1 billion every single day, which is a new sales record for the company, helped along by stronger than expected iPhone 11 sales and sold out AirPod Pros. Tim Cook says, we are thrilled. He was thrilled. So happy to report Apple's highest quarterly revenue ever, fueled by strong demand for our iPhone 11 and iPhone 11 Pro models, and all-time records for services and wearables, said Tim Cook, as I just said, Apple's CEO. During the holiday quarter, our active installed base of devices grew in each of our geographic segments and has now reached over 1.5 billion. We see this as a powerful testament to the satisfaction, engagement, and loyalty of our customers. A great driver of our growth across the board. Our very strong business performance drove an all-time net income of $22.2 billion and generated operating cash flow of $30.5 billion, said Luca Brazzi. No, it was Luca, because he sleeps with the fishes. Luca Mastri, Apple's CFO. We also returned nearly $25 billion to shareholders during the quarter, including $20 billion in share repurchases and $3.5 billion in dividends and equivalents, as we maintain our target of reaching a net cash neutral position over time. Okay. So they provided
They
the
made
following.
money.
They made a crap ton of money. They provided the following guidance for the second quarter: revenue between 63 and 67 billion, gross margins of 38 to 39%, operating expenses of around $10 billion, other income expenses of 250 million, drop in a bucket, and a tax rate of approximately 16.5%. Now, between the first quarter of 2019 and first quarter of 2020, every single position that they report on as far as geographic locations went up, with the exception of Japan, which is kind of weird. Every other location went up. iPhone sales were up. Mac sales were down. iPad sales were down. But it was more than made up for by home and accessories, which went way up from 7.3 billion to 10 billion. Services jumped over 2 billion for the quarter. And total net sales jumped from 84 billion to over 91, almost 92 billion dollars for total net sales. Crazy talk.
Great numbers.
So let's talk to the panel. Hello, panel. Let's start with Warren. Hello, Warren. What do you think of those numbers?
Well, I tell you.
You had to take the microphone off the stand to do it.
Well, I was gonna drop the mic.
Mic drop. No, it's too expensive. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it to that mic. Well, you might know somebody who can get you a mic though.
I could drop the webcam because the webcam's blurry. Yeah, so that's good. I had my wife buy us some Apple stock about 2 months ago, and we didn't buy that much, but we've made a little bit of money off it. So it's a good little investment there. Good. Keep going.
What would you, in your opinion, what was the main reason for Apple's incredible quarter? Do you think that there was anything in particular other than like a new iPhone and AirPod Pros that did it, or was there something else?
I think from
me. Oh God, sorry.
From what I'm hearing, I think it's mostly due to the iPhone 11, not the Pro model. The 11 seems to be selling very, very, very well. In fact, I know a bunch of people that bought one personally. So that's helping. A lot of people, especially over the holidays, bought an iPhone 11. And certainly the AirPods are selling well. So the watches, I see everybody in the world with a watch nowadays. Yeah.
I'm still on my Gen 2.
Yeah, well, that's your problem. So
it is.
Get something better.
Gen 4.
Get at least a Gen 4. Gen 2 slow. But yeah, I see people, it used to be you can't see people without AirPods and a watch on, but now you see them more than you see people without them. And, the iPhone 11 sales are good. I don't think the new services are doing a lot. Personally, I think especially the TV, I don't think.
They don't really break that down too well.
Right, but with
they're not
the
going
TV
to.
service, I don't think I don't think a lot of people are paying for it.
Somebody is. They're up $2 billion over the quarter.
Well, but they don't break it down by the TV Plus. I think a lot of people.
It was News Plus. That's what was the big money maker.
That I could see. Probably not that either. But they're obviously making money on their services that are there before Apple Music, iCloud storage, things like that. We'll see when the free offer expires for Apple TV Plus if people do that. And as far as arcade and news, I don't think they're doing bad, but they're probably not making all that money. So I think it's mostly in the old stuff, the iCloud and the Apple Music, that's doing it.
Okay, Dave.
Yeah, it's a mix of everything. The iPhone 11 was huge, and with rumors flying around about new iPhones coming out, even lower priced iPhones, I think Apple's finally realizing, hey, these iPhones they're making us some money. Not everybody's going to buy the Pro series like we do. Well, Warren and I anyway.
And some of us.
They're gonna continue on this flight of if they continue to offer lower priced iPhones. I think that's going to be a big push of it. The iPad it was a little stagnant, but it's also doing well. In addition, they brought in a lower price model for that as well. And not necessarily that it's lower price, but I think their margins are probably in a good spot that it's making them some profits. But no question, just balance out all the services they're offering. I mean, that there's their profit. A lot of what their profit was is just going across all the services that they're offering, like Warren mentioned. So, overall, great quarter. It's exciting to be involved with Apple and being a consumer and a fanboy like we all are here.
Well, I think it's kind of weird. Like last week or actually on the MyMac show, we were talking about how the iMac seems to not be getting a whole lot of love this time around. And it's kind of telling that their two main computing platforms, the Mac and iPad, are both down, and down 300 million for the Mac and 800 million for the iPad over first quarter of 2019. And this is a trend that's kind of been going on for a while, where the Mac is just not getting the kind of love and attention that other parts of Apple seem to be getting these days. And
it does. Yeah. I mean, it's perception. I mean, Apple with the iPhones and stuff like that, generally they throw everything out at once, like they have an event with all this new stuff. The Macs, they seem to like to stagnate that out. The Mac Pro, I mean, we just got a whole new Mac Pro. We just got a redesigned MacBook Pro 16-inch. They do show love. It's just not as
flashy.
Not as flashy, but not all in once kind of thing. Like they don't redesign a whole lineup at once. I guarantee sometime this year there'll be a new iMac that's going to be nice and everybody's going to want it. So,
yep, there's a rumor.
Yeah, they're definitely working on it. It's just I think they treat each Mac line sort of a little differently, and they don't like to push them out at the same time.
Okay.
What was it? What was there? There was another mention. I don't know what article it was, but that people were trying to trick Tim Cook into him telling us what the future is for the future products, and of course he didn't fall for it. But I mean, that obviously tells
that is one smart feller.
Yeah. There are obviously some new products in the pipeline. I don't think we have to worry about Apple continuing to innovate with we didn't mention AI, AR. I mean, that's all big now, so you're going to see stuff like that. And,
they've been talking about AR for 3-4 years now, and I gotta say, I haven't seen much that excites me at all. I mean, they have these flashy demos that they do at WWDC and some of these other smaller events. Not that WWDC is a small event. And they bring these guys out and they set up a table and they say, okay, show us dinosaurs chasing intelligent trees, or, whatever it is that is the latest AR thing that they have going on. And everyone kind of oohs and ahs. And then they're like, are you going to get that? You going to get that? And everybody just kind of shrugs their shoulder and it's like, I don't know. Why do I need it? It's like 3D television. Yeah. Well, it's like 3D television. They pushed 3D television at CES for years. And what happened? And it died because nobody made content for it. And this is the whole thing with augmented reality and what's the other one?
One's virtual and one's augmented.
Yeah, virtual reality and augmented reality. Nobody
Yeah,
is
but the
really
different-
making much in a way of content for it. Who's doing
But
anything with it?
But the difference is 3D television. That's what it is. I mean, nobody's gonna, you're not gonna make movies in 3D and then somebody's gonna come up and say, you know what, we could add to this. There's nothing. That's it. There's no killer app for 3D television. Well,
it's a 3D it's a 3D live cast.
3D guys' fingers and porn, I guess, is what we're talking about. But anyway, not in the same video, I'm hoping. Virtual reality and augmented reality, somebody could and will invent a killer use for it. It will come just like the watch. They couldn't figure out what the watch was at first. Is it a fashion thing? What is it?
It's gold.
Then they kind of,
No more gold.
No more gold.
It's no more gold. Is it a fashion thing? Is it is it a computer on your wrist? And now it's mainly a health and notifications device, and that's fine. That's what people want. So
and it works great at that. Even my second gen is great at that.
Well, I'm sorry for your loss about the second gen, but
no, it does everything that I need it to do.
We're just playing. Don't worry.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're making fun of me.
But the point is the augmented reality doesn't have anything, but somebody can make it into something that you're going to say, now I want that. That could happen. Where 3D television, you're not going to like it, not like it one day, and somebody's going to invent something to do with it.
Well, darn it, they should. Brian Monroe says the Mac is not at the top of the list to get refreshed as often. That's part Intel / AMD and part just what is selling. That's true. Every time there is an earnings call or someone asks questions about future products, and Apple is good at just shutting up about it. Things do leak out from the supply chain, but not on the quarterly calls. Yes, that's very true.
Yep.
Okay.
Shut up. Tim Cook says, shut up with those questions or I'll
kill you.
Don't
ask me that. Don't ask me that no more. No more.
I'll kill you.
Or I'll kill
you.
I'll get, what's his name? The Sleep with the Fishes guy, the CFO. He'll come and see you. I don't necessarily need a new Apple Watch. Hold on a second here. He says, I need a new Apple Watch because my S2 does not have the features that I need for my health. Because, I'm getting up there in years. I'm going to be 60 years old this year. Get the off my lawn.
Your watch is giving you health issues instead of preventing them. It's giving you
no, my general demeanor and habits are giving me health issues, much less than what watch I'm wearing.
Computer. If I'm on a slow computer, my blood pressure rises. If I'm flicking my watch and nothing's happening, I'm getting flustered. All of a sudden, I'm shaking in the middle of the street. I get hit by a car because I'm looking at my watch trying for it to do something. Oh, it's bad for your health.
There's a car commercial of all these people walking with their eyes on their phone and just walking in front of cars. And that these cars will just automatically brake for you. It's like, just stop looking at your phone as you're crossing busy intersections or while you're driving or anything else.
All you ever see is people walking around the streets. All they're doing is looking at their smartphones.
Now, my heart is just fine there, Mr. Monroe.
And a lot of times I just walk right into you.
Fine. It's fine. All right, we're going to get off money.
I wish I knew I had AFib, but my watch doesn't tell me that.
I'm coming to you, honey, Elizabeth.
It's the big one. Okay. Apple has updates. Many updates. Yes. Get them, you will. I got home from work yesterday and just went on an update frenzy. I started with the Mac because I've got what the hell's the operating system? Catalina, thank you. Just blanked. It's because I'm getting old. I got Catalina on this computer. I got Catalina on my MacBook Pro. I've got the latest beta on my iPad and the latest regular version on my iPhone. And of course, then of the two Apple TVs in the house kind of updated themselves. But it just seemed like I'd be like, okay, I'm going to update this. Oh, wait, I have to update this. And then I have to update this and the watch. And it was like every time I turned around, it was like, okay, I have to wait for another update to get done. If they all came out pretty much on the same day. It was so weird.
They came out the same day.
That is weird.
Same day they did.
I'm actually not on any beta right now.
I know he's going through withdrawal.
When this happens, there's usually a week, or not even, sometimes it might be tomorrow. There's usually a short period of time where I'm not on the betas and I'm on public releases, and I feel like I'm part of the world. And generally, what I do to celebrate is I back up my iOS devices and wipe them and restore them, because I think it kind of helps a little bit for some reason. But I'm thinking, what's today, Wednesday? I bet tomorrow there will be a beta of something.
13.3.2.
Would you think that they'll already have the new betas out for various devices tomorrow?
Usually it's a couple days.
Yeah. Usually in the same week they'll do it.
Well, the biggest thing that I'll definitely be talking about on the podcast tomorrow is the fact that it in iOS 13.3.1 includes a networking and wireless toggle that you could turn off that U1 Ultra wideband chip, because Apple had discovered that it was continuing to track you even though you turned it off. Go! So you actually can now turn that off. They added that feature, quote unquote feature.
So
is that implemented in an application, or is that on all the time?
It was on all the time before we had this setting.
It was on all the time. Yeah.
And that's only on the iPhone 11?
Well, no, it's iOS.
No, all of them.
No, it's all the iOS device, iPad and
13.
iPhone. 13.3.1 is including this.
There's some kind of chip in some of the phones that can't work in certain parts of the world because of laws, and for that to happen.
Oh, okay, I remember this story now. Yeah,
it pings out to a server.
You couldn't go into like Area 51 with that turned on, or it was military bases and certain government facilities from not just the United States but from other countries as well. It was like
China or something like that. Yeah, something like that.
What? China has restrictions on where you can go?
China. Probably right now you can't even get into or out of China. So there you go.
Not in the Wuhan province. That's for darn sure. Speaking of that, the coronavirus is on a lot of people's minds for Apple's supply chain. Story from Digital Trends. Apple is scrambling to reduce coronavirus impact. There are a number of facilities. I don't believe the story laid out what those facilities were that Apple uses in their supply chain in the Wuhan or whatever province that is in China. But I've noticed that with all of the various trade problems that came up this year, that Apple is, and rather much quicker than I thought that they were going to be able to. They seem to be diversifying their manufacturing facilities. They've got 3 now open in India, which I'm guessing in a pinch could be used for not just, to service people who live in India with phones, but also other, that's bugging me, the other locations as well. So if this becomes more of a thing than it already is, and it is already a pretty big deal, there are cases of the coronavirus all over the world, pretty much all over the world at this point. Then this could become a problem for Apple. And I mean, you have to remember, it's not like you've got this great big factory and every single component that's required to build some Apple device resides within or is created in this factory. It's a combined effort of bits and pieces from all over the world converging into one site that is used to manufacture the item.
They were saying the factory that's kind of in the middle of it is right. It's not just a factory that's a problem, but in that area, they all give little parts to that factory in that same area. So they're having a problem with that, obviously, too. It's just, it affects pretty much. You think of a factory and everything is self-contained and has it, but
but
there's
it's not
things
that way.
coming in and out of it all.
It used to be that way.
Out of it all the time.
When it used to be that way, things were simpler. You're talking about washing machines and automobiles and refrigerators and things like that.
Where all the parts are built there,
Yeah. And then they just put it all together there as well. Now for cars, everything from cars to jumbo jets, you've got bits and pieces that are being manufactured from all over the place. And then those pieces are moved to a final assembly point.
It's bad for China.
It's just like I know what I'm talking about.
Well, I mean, a lot of the airlines. A lot of the airlines are already stopping flights going to and from the United States. I mean,
well, I know China has stopped a lot of flights from leaving that area. Basically, that entire province is pretty much on a lockdown right now.
So I gotta tell you a story. We were coming back from the Super Bowl. My wife, my son, and I in the airplane.
You mean the Pro Bowl?
And
Pro
Bowl didn't happen.
You wish you were at the Super
Bowl.
You'd be down in Miami right now.
The Pro Bowl, which was fun and all that, but we're back and we're sitting in like the front row of the economy area, and the steward before we take off, and the stewardess and the attendants are all talking to each other.
Flight attendants.
And we're getting wind of this. Yeah, it's the flight attendants all
stewardesses.
So, anyways, so they're talking, and we're picking up the conversation, and the conversation is there's this one woman in the back, and they kind of looked at our past our itinerary or whatever, and supposedly she may have just came from China, maybe she didn't, and she's denying it, and so my wife and my family are like, well, we might be in a plane with somebody who's just came from China.
Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're infected with the virus.
Well, they wanted to kick her off the plane. Yeah, that was their goal, to kick her off the plane because she just came there. In any case, they couldn't prove it, and they left her on the flight. So we're like, whatever.
Yeah, there's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we taped the conversation on our phones, because this time, if we do get the virus, no, we didn't tape them, but we should have taped them. If we do get the virus, we could sue United for that. But it's airlines are starting to stop a lot of travel from those areas. I think Canada just started that, right? They won't take any flights from a few places.
Well, something I was reading was the amount of restrictions that China currently has on travel within their country could only be done in a country like China, where the state is all powerful and all encompassing,
controls everything.
Right. So if you try to do something, like your example right there, where they were going to kick somebody off of a plane because they may have been in China at some point in the last couple of years. If they had tried to do
couple
that,
of days.
Regardless, if they had tried to do that here in the States and had successfully gotten her kicked out kicked off the flight because of that, that's like a lawsuit waiting to happen. And yes, the captain of the plane has discretion to allow or not allow anyone on board the plane, but that discretion has to be tempered with a process that's also not going to get the airline into legal trouble. So you have to walk a very, very thin line there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty much all we got for this evening.
Really?
Yeah. It's going to be a short show tonight. Let's start with Warren. Warren, if people wanted to get a hold of you, how would they do it?
Obviously, it's not going to be at the Super Bowl because that's not where I was.
No.
I was at the Pro Bowl, which was a lot of fun. By the way, tell you about that one on another day. I'm on Facebook here and there. That's where I am. Come to the Back to the Future Facebook group and come tell us your problem stories, antidotes, opinions, whatever. Well, we hear it all.
Well, I've heard you do a podcast.
I do a podcast. I do a podcast with somebody named David Ginsburg.
I'm sorry, who?
Some guy.
Can you spell that?
And I don't really even know that, like I never met him. I've never seen him. He just kind of like, yeah. I'll be like sitting in my living room.
Not in person anyway.
I'll be sitting in my living room and something comes over the HomePod speakers and he's like, let's do a podcast. I'm like, okay, whoever you are, I don't know.
Okay, mystery voice.
Okay, mystery voice. I'll talk to you because I'm lonely and nobody else is talking to me. My wife is sleeping. My son's playing Xbox. I don't know what I'm doing. Yes, so I did a live cast with Dave, and I think we're doing a show tomorrow night.
Yes, we are.
And he has some kind of guest, some Mac Whisperer thing guy. Maybe.
Oh, it's kind of like a dog whisperer.
I don't know.
It's
Dave
Mac
will tell
related.
you more.
All right, let's go over to Dave. Hello, Dave.
It is the Mac Whisperer. His name is Dylan Stewart, and I met him on Facebook, and he wants to promote his site, and he seems very knowledgeable of iOS, which is a plus for our show. So that's why I figured, what the heck, we'll have a guest along with us, so we'll have fun with that. So to go see us, the podcast is In Touch with iOS, intouchwithios.com. We have a lot of fun. Yes, I do have that guy over there somewhere over there, Warren.
He's there.
Yeah,
the guy in the HomePod
is he's the co-host, and yes, we're having a lot of fun. I think the show's going real well, and we're definitely getting some good feedback. So I'm really enjoying it. So check that out. Also, president of the Suburban Chicago Apple Users, been having fun with that too. Just coming off of a board retreat. Yeah, we can Google it all. We just did a board retreat, the state of the group, and the group is doing very well, which is a good thing. And we're trying to get some more guests, and we're trying to get sustain our membership as well as get some great speakers, and we're doing all of that. So a lot of fun. And on Twitter, you catch me on DaveG65.
And if you'd like to get a hold of me, my email address is Guy. That's GUI at mymac.com. If you'd like to help support things like this particular program or the mymac.com podcast or the done occasionally Guy's Daily Drive, you can buy me a coffee at coffee.com, ko-fi.com/MacParrot. You can do that Patreon thing, patreon.com/MacParrot. And I also have PayPal. I have a PayPal account, paypal.me/MacParrot. I have two, not one, but two Twitter accounts. One is MacParrot, the other one is Vert Shark. And of course, beyond this madness, I'm also doing.
Does the shark eat the parrot?
Yes, he does. The MyMac.com podcast. I do that almost every single week with Mr. Gazmaz. We just did our 500th episode last week, and that was so much fun. And of course, the Mac to the Future live cast in Guy's Daily Drive. And yeah, I think that's about it. I think that's all we got going on. So thanks to everyone who has joined us this evening or will in some time in the future download the audio or video version of the Mac to the Future Go livecast. You can find the edited video version over there on the YouTubes.
A lot of editing.
Just look it up under my name. It'll be there, or Mac to the Future or Mac to the Future Go. You'll find it over there. And of course, the audio version will be in Apple's podcast app, along with some other podcatchers under, this is weird, Guys Daily Drive, because I'm too cheap to get yet another domain for just this show. Even though this show makes up like 90% of Guys Daily Drive feed. So subscribe to the Guys Daily Drive feed.
So we'll just change it to Guys Daily Drive Mac to the Future.
Yeah, something like that.
Can we get you like a Fisher Price steering wheel? So
you
can put it
can
on your desk while you did this.
That's right. You'll drive, and we'll just do the show, and it'll be
I'm driving.
Guys Daily Drive on the Mac to the Future show.
Everyone says that old people shouldn't drive. I'm driving just fine. I don't seem to be going anywhere.
We'll change the background to like make it look like you're moving, and we'll put your cat.
I've got a green screen. I'll put a green screen behind me, and we'll do like the old 60s TV show where the car is jumping all over the place, and they're just holding onto the steering wheel like this.
77 Sunset Strip.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we put the cat to drive? We'll make the cat drive and be like Toonses.
Oh, I close the door. Jelly and Kissman aren't allowed in here when I'm podcasting. Do you remember,
typically, do you remember all over them?
Do you remember Toonses?
They would. What?
Do you remember Toonses?
Toonses?
Yes, the driving cat on Saturday Night Live.
Google it. I stopped watching Saturday Night Live like in the early '80s.
That's when it was on.
Oh,
that's when Toonses. It hasn't been on in 30 years, but it's basically like this cat.
Then that's drives. Probably one dead cat. After 30 years,
you gotta check them out. Toonses, the driving cat.
You'll have to send me a link. You have to link me.
Google it.
Google.
All right, that's all we got for this evening. Thanks to Mr. Warren Sklar and David Ginsburg for joining me once again. Really, really appreciate it. And to everyone else, thank you. Like, share, subscribe. However it is you want to do this, either here on Facebook or over on the tubes of you. And we will catch you next week. Where's the closing theme? There it is. I found the button. On the Mac to the Future live cat. Yeah, it's bad. I'm losing my
Guys closing theme.
This is the theme to Guy's show. It's the closing theme to Guy's show. This is the theme he plays when he says, gotta go now.